pushed it.
Excellent. I figured you would have it all set up, so that could be the thing.
No one's doing that. I've been 30 seconds. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, impressed. I'm not impressed with the number of kids we have. We have
89. Oh, but no, those extras, yeah, there's 5 extras on the end, so you're right. Oh, never mind. On my numbers here are different than your numbers. You've got updated numbers. I've got old numbers. So. Hello to folks who are hopping on. Thank you, thank you. I see Vicky and Maureen. Appreciate you ladies being part of our happy little bead world. And today's learning tutorial about our new, I think we are going to call it Cobblestone Bracelet. Ed wrote the instructions during the middle of the night, and Cobblestone is on the title, so that's a thing. Hi Linda, good to see you. Appreciate everybody hopping on. We'll get started in just a minute or two, and hope everybody had a good 4th of July and we're able to celebrate the reason for that season. The independence of our nation is a kind of a big deal. Hey Susan, good to see you. Today, a little later, we're going to have Anna pop down. I'm going to show you with this new design actually, here's the design. I am going to show you the way I put it together, and I gave this kit yesterday to Anna and Kim and said, hey, I'd like you guys to put together a colorway and just try it without any instructions, just looking at a sample. And Anna came up with a unique way of beading it that I thought was kind of fun. So I thought we'll show you that after I show you what we're going to be teaching and what we see in our instructions. So we're at like 3 minutes after 12. Do you think I should get started, Eddie Allen? Or Alrighty, do you want to come over and say something intelligent about what we're doing?
Sure.
Well, with the numbers and stuff that I don't remember because I don't remember.
Yeah, we are coming to you live from historic downtown Stoughton. It's the Ed and Becky Show. My name is Ed. Say hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Becky says hi. Hey, so those of you that have shot before, you know the drill. We're going to show different lots. Becky's going to have an extended tutorial at the start of the show to show you this brand new design that we're very excited about. And after that, we're going to offer these bracelets for sale in the form of a kit. They are on special price today. Their retail price is $48. You're going to get them for $44. And if you buy 4 or more, you're going to get them for $40. Shipping is free if you're over $50. And we've got some accessories at the end of the show, like some buttons and some genya and some rings to make sure you have enough to get over 50, even if you buy just one kit. So you get your free shipping. Those of you that are first time, we're so glad you're here, and you need to know that at the end of the show, you need to get us your email address so we can send you a secure click and pay email invoice, and send that to Becky at theakinosdesigns.com. Otherwise, it's after the tutorial, it'd be shown different lots, and if you like that lot, just say sold lot number 1 in the comments, and I'll be the tick mark person today. Becky's going to be the instructor today, and she's excited to get going, so I'll turn it back over to her.
Alrighty, thank you, Edward Allen, and thanks everybody who's joined us. So I'm going to get started, and Eddie, you just got done writing instructions, so if I forget something important, I hope you'll mention it. Sometimes once I get underway, I tend to...
Amazing instructions.
Oh, here's the amazing instructions that Ed made, because he's good at doing instructions. Yay. So that's our first page, and then we've got the second page, of course, with the diagrams, because he's the king of making beautiful diagrams. Anyway, I think that the instructions are going to make it really easy for you to do this, and you hardly need instructions in the first place. Did you want to say something, Eddie? Come on over, Pack.
Oh, no. I was just going to be funny. I don't need to be funny.
Okay. All right, he was going to be funny, but he doesn't need to be funny. Alrighty, well, so the kits come with a big chunk of 2 mil, or I mean, the leather's thick. Hey, and thanks for the feedback on the design, guys. I really do appreciate that. This has been a really fun one to build, I gotta say. It has just captured a lot of people's attention here, and you know, just people who help pull it together. My friend Laura comes and volunteers, and she had some great input, and anyway, it's just been fun. But anyway, the kits come with 28 inches of 2 mil leather, or I'm sorry, 30 inches of 2 mil leather and 28 inches of Genya. And that's because I like to have it such that once you get started, the ends are about the same length. And if your ends need to be trimmed up a little bit, you can do that, because it just makes beading easier when your ends are the same length. So here's your 28-inch piece of Genya, and we're gonna do just a simple overhand knot like so. I think I'll move that so that we don't have the background. And I want that knot to end up in the middle. So I'm going to hold those, you know, the ends together and make sure that my knot ends up right about there in the middle. And then I'm going to put my 2 mil leather through like so and come to the midpoint of that as well. So I'm lining up the ends and making sure that my Genya is going to be right in the middle. And so I'm going to tie a very snug knot, and it really only needs to go around once. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to now put, and Genya for those, I'm going to thread the button on. And Genya is a vegan material. It's man-made, doesn't stretch, and it ends up being kind of the secret sauce of a number of our kits because it looks like leather, as you can see, but it's a vinyl product. There's a white core there, nylon core, you can see, but it looks like leather, and again, the fact that it doesn't stretch makes it just an amazing product for various reasons. In bracelets, it helps assure that your bracelet doesn't stretch because it was made of leather. Next, we're going to do a simple overhand knot, just like we do on most of our knotted bracelets. And that goes like so. And if you've ever watched these videos before, you know that I like to make sure, I'm sorry for the wiggling, I'm bumping into lighting. I like to make sure that my cords line up in the knot and they don't overlap each other. That isn't critical, but I just like it. So we want it about a ½ an inch away from the button. There you go. And then you see I just left the Genya piece hanging over here, but now I'm going to thread it through the middle of that big knot. And the point of that is so that then I kind of position the knot and I pull the Genya so that the knot is going to end up basically hiding the Genya knot inside of it.
And Becky worked a while to perfect this technique. There's a lot of 4-stranded boho bracelets out on the market. They're gorgeous. They're a lot of times individually beaded strands. And oftentimes people just take all 4 strands and tie them, and you end up with a very large, bulky knot. And by doing this little extra step of tying that Genya on and kind of threading it through what I call the tornado of the knot, or the eye of the hurricane of the knot, maybe is a better, it really makes it a much more thinner knot and a more elegant knot, and gives it a more elegant finish. And it also gets your strands all nicely lined up.
Thanks, Ed. And so what I like to do at this point, you don't really need to tug on the Genya at this point because he's in there pretty good and strong. But I like to hold the knot, and you can, I don't know, I hope you can see, like when you're using leather, it is just super important to make all your knots, once you know where they want them to be. Once you've decided where the knot needs to be, it's really wise to pull it really, really tight. But be careful, because 1 or 1.5 mil leather you could probably break. 2 mil is a little harder to break, but you can see I'm pulling it really hard to make that knot come together and really really hold. So I kind of have my Genya knot hidden inside there, and it's exactly what I want. I'll put this up here. So to get started, hey Anna. Anna just showed up. As I mentioned, she's gonna show an alternate technique as soon as I'm done showing you this technique. To get started, I think with either technique, we're gonna put a 1 8mm large hole bead on the middle. So this is strand 1, 2, 3, and 4, the way the instructions are written. And what's kind of handy is that you can't get a piece of leather in Genya through that knot, through that bead hole. So you are virtually guaranteed you won't make a mistake and thread the wrong cords. But you can see that that Genya in the middle is a little, well, I guess significantly thinner than the 2mm leather on the outside. So now I'm putting on each side of the bracelet the jump ring, and these are 6 by 8 millimeters, and I put them over a piece of Genya and a piece of leather on each side. So this starts the bracelet, and I kind of look to see which feels like it's naturally becoming the front. Because the bead is popped up on this side, I'm going to call that the front. And then I'm going to make sure, because that's another thing, that my seams on the jump ring, see where you can see that seam right there? I prefer him to be on the back rather than the front, right? All right, so that's the start. And from here, we're just going to do a series of patterns. What do you call them, Eddie?
I'll call them packets, but we also call it the 2-2-3-2 pattern. But an easier way to remember it is beads, rings, bead, rings. That pattern shows up so many times in all of our bracelet kits, and you're going to be putting on 2 beads, 2 rings, 3 beads, 2 rings. So it's bead, ring, 2-2-3-2. And that is the repeatable pattern. That's the wash, rinse, repeat. And very therapeutic. You just got to remember what goes where, and Becky will show you.
All right, so I like to, well, I just added this bead, but I like to line up each set. After I did a few of these and then forgot beads a few times, I thought, well, if I set it up so that I have my little, each steps laid out, I put 2 beads, 2 jump rings, and then the 3 beads that go together in 2 jump rings. And then I just go in order and make sure they all get on there one way or the other. It doesn't really matter what order well, it does matter what order you put them on. So here I'm putting the 2 6mm large hole beads on the outside on the 2mm leather. And these holes, very occasionally, the leather will be thick enough to need to be twisted a little bit to get into the hole. This particular leather is pretty darn thin. Well, I shouldn't say thin, it's very thick. But I'm not having any trouble with the holes. But if you should, one of my tricks is just cut that point just to as sharp a point as you can, and that'll help make sure that you can get through it with with leather that might be a little thicker. I've tried this in the 6mm beads with our thickest leathers, and you can get all of them through. In the kits, I don't think any of them are in too bad a shape. So there you see we do the first 2 portions of the what Ed calls a packet, and now I'm going to put one of the cornerless cube beads on the outside, and I will go put the other cornerless cube on the other side, and then we're going to put the large hole 8mm bead onto the 2 pieces of Genya, and there it is. Last but not least, to complete this set is another jump ring on each combo of Genya and 2mm leather. Aw, thanks for the love, guys. When I have a moment, it's like just seeing that different people are watching. Hey, Laura, good to see you. Thanks for the comments about the kits. So one of the things you do, so like you see how gnarly that all looks, right? But what you do, with each set, I pull everything really nice and snug. So in this case, I pull the guinia first, so holding on to what you've beaded so far, and then pull that guinia cord, and that's a little like good thick leather. You can't, that's nearly indestructible, so you can't accidentally break that cord. Make sure that my rings are on the way I want them to be, and then I'll pull that 2mm cord a little bit, and see how nicely, once you pull the cord, pushes the side beads. You want the cornless cube beads to end up right up next to your demorgerite. So I'm going to do one more round to show you this approach again. Actually, I'm going to move this over so that you can see. That's my happy little way to stay organized and on track and not get lost and miss things. So I've got that bead going on.
And while Becky's doing that second packet, there's you just keep repeating this that packet 2232. You do it about anywhere from 12 to 14 times for a standard size wrist, and anywhere from 14 to 16 times for a very large wrist or a man's wrist. These are unisex designs, so certainly your husband or boyfriend could wear them as well. We do give you a total of 17 large beads, so you do have the ability to do 15 full packets, and then the ending and starting packet so you end up, you could have a full 8 inches of beading material combined with that 1/2 inch start. You can make all the way up to a 9.5 inch long bracelet, so you can really accommodate any imaginable size. You know, I mean, for the most part, 98% of the population could get a bracelet that will fit them just lovely. And you can see that the other secret sauce to this is having those 2 strands in the middle. It allows for the elegant installation of the jump rings, and like I said, creates a center core strength inside those 8mm as well, and holds that 8mm really nicely.
Thanks, Eddie. And you can see my jump rings were facing the wrong direction, so before I snug everything up, I want to turn them around and make sure they are working just as I'd like. So then I like to pull the guinia first to really tighten things up, and then pull the leather. And you can see where it looks a little wonky, but then as soon as you pull it together, it all comes into shape. And part of that is just having all the right size beads in the right spots, so it comes together really nicely. We are working on scaling this so that we can make it with smaller beads as well, which I think will be fun. Lori, I see your question about keeping the tension too tight for the bracelet to bend. Honestly, that's a really, really good point. Let me show you one over here. Magically, look how that one's already done. Yay. So it is, like as I make it, I bend it a little along the way, and you can see, like you can see where the guinia is in between, my hands, and if you can get it so that, see how that's a little gappy? So I want to pull it so that the guinia is fairly even. I guess I don't think that you're going to have an issue with it being too tight, because in some way the beads, the rings all lined up force it so that it can't get too tight necessarily, because there has to be room for those beads and rings to all be lined up. So but I do know I know what that problem is. I understand it, and I don't think you're going to have it with this. So that is a wonderful segue, though, into the how do we finish. So, like I say, sure, we can show that one next. Yeah.
Or is it? I mean, if she's just going to show a packet, right?
Yep. We can do that next. So, pardon?
I mean, that would make sense before I finish it.
Okay, thank you, Eddie, for directing the timing of our video while we're in the middle of it. Perfect. We will get Anna right here now, and she's going to hop on and show you the method that she's chosen. And Anna, while you're sitting down, thank you. And thank you. Thank you. You guys, can you show a little love to Anna? Bless her heart. She has been working with us for how long? A couple years?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Feels
and
weird.
She is one of our youngest, well, at this point, now that Cheyenne is no longer, because we
Yeah.
had one of our gals go off to college, she's our youngest person, so she brings some fresh new perspectives, colorways, and just interest to the designs that we put together. And she often contributes with designs of her own. Show me your wrist. Do you want to show me your wrist real quick? So this is just a cute little thing. After yesterday, she came up with this one, and I think we'll make that into a kit too. What do you think? I just think it's super cool. Anyway, another fun way to use this Genyas beads and so on together. So anyway, I'm going to let Anna talk about her approach, and if you want to tell us why you picked the beads you picked, if there's a good story there.
Not really, no. It was more just trying to figure out what colors went with the silver and everything.
Yes, I did ask her to make something with shiny silver, because I make everything I make in blue demortarite and Red Creek jasper and brass.
Yeah.
And so
On brass.
I love when other people can help push me out into some other colorway, and thank you, Anna, for that. All right, I will leave her alone so she can show her
Okay.
method. Go ahead
So-
and talk it through.
Unlike Becky, I do not put stuff in organized little, I guess, packets.
Well, that
Little
pattern is
pattern.
Ed, but
Yeah.
pattern, yeah, that would be
Collections,
me. Yes.
piles.
Yes.
Well, actually, that's a little bit of what I do. Create piles, but not necessarily organized piles. Okay, so to show how I do it upside down to keep the beads from falling off. Makes it a little bit easier for my brain to make sense of everything. So, since the next thing in this pattern will be the cornerless cubes, I'll stick that on both sides. And I'll try to keep my hands out of the way so y'all can see, but please tell me if my hands are in the way.
Yeah, so on no notice whatsoever, other than like as she was leaving last
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
I think I said, "Hey, Anna, I like this approach. It's an interesting, different way. Would you be willing to show it on the Facebook Live show tomorrow?" And because she's a really good spirit and willing worker, she said sure. So, because I do think, sometimes I'm beating for like meditative flow. Sometimes I'm beating for speed. And I think your approach kind of works both ways in
Yeah,
a different
little bit.
way. So yeah. All right, I'll shut up.
Okay, so another thing that I do, so with all of the jump rings in the middle, so they're all connected underneath the 8mm. And so what I have decided to do is on one side, I'll put 2 jump rings on here, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then instead of weaving them through and doing all of putting the 6 mils in, I'll instead just thread on another 8 and not snug it up, just to hold the jump rings in place, not to completely finish it. And then I'll just repeat that a couple times so that it keeps everything in place here. Oops. Some days the jump rings have a mind of their own.
Oh my goodness, I can relate. And usually it's when you're doing something like this, or
Oh,
you have
yeah.
a customer in front of you, or whatever.
Gotta go scurrying after them and all the fun stuff. Okay, so now that I have a couple strung on here, oh, if I can get that through, there we go. Okay, so I've put 2 jump rings on either side, left them kind of hanging loose, and now that I have that, wait, did I do something? Nope, I did that correctly. Okay, good. Got worried there for a second. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'll try to keep my hands open as much as possible. Okay, so turn the jump rings right side down. So on this, for my direction, the seam is on the back. So that one I'll need to rotate. Okay, so I'm working on the right side. So the cornerless cube is on. So then I'll thread it through this bottom jump ring and grab a 6mm. Come on.
You know, they misbehave most when
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you know, when you least want them to.
Okay, so then I'll thread the leather through the top one. And this is where I snug it up a little bit. Not too much though, since I'm only working on one side for a couple beads, so then it's not so tight I can't go back into the other side. And then, since Cornrow's Cube is next, I will grab one of those. And jump ring is facing the right direction. So we'll go through there and then
We have, well, we only have 2 of them. That is on there. And it is on the show, but we only have 2 available right now.
You're welcome. Okay, and then okay, so then after I've done one side, looks a little wonky right now, then I'll go back around and just repeat the same thing on the other side. If I can make it through, maybe. We'll see. Oh, no, that's 2. And the jump ring's the wrong direction. Goodness. Come on. Oh, come on. Get in there. Just when I think the jump ring's not cooperating. Okay, so there we go. So then, following the pattern on the other side, pick out a 6mm.
You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here beside Anna trying to finish up one of the samples, and using my method, but I don't have my beads set out, and twice already I have missed beads. So it is just funny how you can mess up when you don't have a system of some sort. And Anna's, I think, is a good one, and helps make sure that you don't miss beads.
Well, I have
If you do it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and part of it is as you get into this, you just sort of get your flow. You know, what works best for you, what seems to
seems to
you know
work
get it
best.
done, and
Yeah, right. Don't spill the beads. Yeah, so I tend to, now, this is the first time I've made this. I'm first time doing the bracelet, finishing it up and all that fun stuff. But when I was starting on the top, I ended up doing about 3 beads going in sections, putting on the jump rings, doing one side, and then going to the other side, instead of beading the entire thing one side, going back. Because then it makes it easier to adjust the tension so you're not making something really bendy, wonky, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, yeah, Lori asked about that because it is easy with certain bracelets. I mean, we've all done certain materials just sort of become more like wonky or bendy or tight and truly like you just kind of smushed yours down a little bit. You're doing that as you work and before you finish up and tie all your knots is always a good plan, right?
Well, and that's why when I was doing this, I only went in groups of like 3 or 4, because then, like, as you can see, some parts of this are it's not perfectly straight because the tension's off in some areas, and I probably tightened things in others.
Yeah, but you can, you know, like you say, pull it as you go, and then after the fact, before I tie any final knots, you know, you hold on to the whole thing. And I have found, like I say, pulling that center, again, really hard, because you won't break it, and then pulling the leather on the side, and
just kind of
looking at, you know, what you've got pulled, and wiggle it around a little, and don't let it get too tight.
Yeah. So that is my explanation of, at least for a small section of how I do everything and my little chaos beading.
Alrighty. Well, Anna, you are a dear. I really, really, really appreciate you stopping in to help and show your approach.
As best as I can.
Yes, and we'll get that bracelet finished and on our display, and we'll probably get that colorway put together. I will say this is probably the fastest kit introduction we have ever had. I think we came up with the idea about a week and a half ago. I think it was Tuesday, a week and a half ago, or Monday.
Hopefully your husband worked through the night to do these.
And my husband worked through the night to do the instructions, and just so that we could get this done. So yay! Thank you, Edward. And thank you, Anna, very much. Appreciate you coming down and helping. We'll talk in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to just show you how we do the finish, and then we'll have our kits available. So again, you see everything is a little bit loose and gappy, so I want to pull the guinea really, really hard. Oh wow, a lot came out of that, you saw that. And pull the leather really hard. But then, as was mentioned, sometimes you don't want it to get too tight. So you give it a little bit of a wiggle and a twist. You know, make sure that it's going to lay nicely and not be too tight. And then we're always going to finish with just a bead. And that means, you know, you've got about 1/2 inch increments. I suppose you could finish with, you know, 2 on the side, but for sizing. But I feel like for the look and for security, finishing with one of the large hole 8mm beads is the best approach. And then we're going to take the 2 pieces of 2mm leather into an overhand knot, because at this point what we're doing is, I'm just going to show you, well, it doesn't matter. I was going to show you a finished one, but so I get that knot close to finished and tightened, but not tightened, and I'm going to string my guinea through it, through the middle. Come on, there we go. And pull it good and snug, and then have my beads get lost. And this is the top side, so I kind of want to pop that bead there. Pull the knot to cover the guinea. I'm going to pull that knot really good and snug. And important is pulling each side of it individually. That's where you get all the looseness out. And by pulling them tight, you make sure they don't stretch on you when you are wearing them. And then to finish, oh, you know what? One quick thing just to show you. When you're figuring size, the way to know if where you should tie that knot is when you wrap it around your wrist and you get to where the button touches the beads, like so. And so this was all the beading, basically reaches the button. That's how you know it's time to tie your knot. And then it'll fit just right. So back to this simple overhand knot. Ah, I see Allie commented that the kids are relaxing with the repetition. Yes, I tell you, it is one of my joys has been lately when I'm designing something new is then making all the samples, and it is just super, super, super meditative and relaxing and just satisfying, right? To get something fun accomplished. So I'm testing. I feel like I want to make my knot. I want to make my opening just a little bit bigger. See how that fits. Well, actually what I'm going to do instead of retying the knot, I'm just going to tighten it this way so it makes that opening just a little bit bigger, because it doesn't need to be too tight. You don't want a tight knot, too small of an opening here. You don't want that to create unnecessary friction that causes wear. So I'm going to call that right where I want it and do the whole hang on to that knot and pull each cord to get all the stretch and such out of it. And then I like to put a little dangle on pert near everything that can handle a dangle. And so that guinea gets, in my world here, one little bead and one big bead. And you can do whatever you like, because you'll have a few extra of, most likely if you don't have a 9.5 inch wrist, you'll have some extra beads, the metal beads as well. So you can put whatever you like on the ends. And then I like to tighten those real good. I usually use, to just make sure that's super tight, get a pliers in there and pull really good and hard. Wow, did you see all that? Wow, it's just amazing to me how sometimes, and that's how you make sure your knots are going to stay, is just pull the dickens out of them. And then press the bead back into the knot to give it a little bit of secure hold from both sides. And then I'm cutting these at about 1/4 of an inch. And there we go. Ta-da! The one other thing I wanted to show you quick before we go on is if you should decide that you don't like the dangles, right? I think the way that I would tie it off, if you don't want to add dangles, is to take the 2 bits of Genya on the last, at the bottom of the last 8mm bead that's on the middle. And I will tell you that sometimes I short myself. So your kits have longer lengths of Genya than these. I was trying to only cut exactly how much I would need. Then I forget that if I'm doing it on screen, I don't have enough. I mean, I have enough, but it looks awkward. You'll have more Genya, so it won't be as hard to tie those knots. But this is how much, you've got this much leftover leather. Anyway, I would go like so, tie that knot, pull it really tight, and then do the what we've been doing is hide the Genya knot with a nice overhand knot. And I'm ultimately going to put some beads on this and do a dangle, but I did want to just show you that if you were making this for somebody who didn't prefer having a knot on it, you can go like so. Or who didn't prefer having dangles, because I don't know, there are people who don't like them. So there you be. All right, Eddie, I think that is all I've got. Does anybody have any thoughts, questions before we get on to talking about our kits? There's one that's completely done.
You can show the loop and the dangle.
Yes. Well, I did the loop and the dangle on that one. So, alrighty. And let's see. Guess I'll start with this one. So our first kit is the Sunstone or Goldstone, and this is fun. I don't usually work in Goldstone, but I've had other people help pull colorways together and such, and it has pushed me into other areas. So this uses Goldstone in the center with the 8mm bead and Rhyolite as the 6mm bead, and it's lot 1. And as Ed said, the bead or the kits today are $44. Normally they'll be 48,
Right.
and if you buy 4, they're 40. Is that right, Edward? Okay, marvelous. So the Goldstone, which I think has turned out just really fun. This is kind of a popular color this season in fashion, so we wanted to do something with it. We have not used it. I don't think we've ever used Goldstone in a kit, have we, Eddie? But it has a wonderful fleck and shimmer, and just feels very warm and summery and beachy, I think. I will say that these copper beads, the cornerless cubes, are likely to over time darken a little bit, which, as anybody who knows me knows, I think that's a yes and amen, because I think they kind of do exactly what people do, change a little over time as we get older, and take on a deeper, more interesting patina. So they won't get super dark, but they will tone down a little bit. I will say sometimes the copper strands, if you've ever purchased our cornerless cube beads, we carry them in this size and then 2 others, right? Smaller and larger, Eddie? Or both smaller than this?
We have 2 sizes smaller. We have about a 3.3mm and a 2.2mm. And this is about a 5mm.
Alrighty, so they always start out looking really shiny, but once you use them and wear them a little bit, they seem to tone down a bit. Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to lot 2. And this is the one I was working on because it's not done yet. And this one is made with Red Creek Jasper in the middle, which is, of course, the best stone ever, almost, or at least one of the top 5 in my humble opinion. And beside it, we've got Bloodstone. So it helps to pick up kind of the green tones, I think, of this bracelet. And I'm going to turn it over. You can see right now I have it laying basically on the back side because you can see all the jump ring seams, but I'm going to turn it over because there's his happy front side. Anyway, I feel like it has a really nice fall look. This, again, all of these are unisex, but this would be one that I know for sure, having sold a lot of things to a lot of men at art shows, this is a colorway that a lot of men will appreciate as well.
I would wear it.
You would wear it?
If you finish me long enough.
Ah, well, maybe I can do that. I can try. Yeah, Ed's a good bracelet model. He has a statistically average man wrist, and I have a statistically average woman wrist. So between us, we can do all things, partner. All right, so again, we are $44 for the kit, and these have a full strand of the 6mm large hole beads. You'll have some left over. They have 17, and there's 17 of the large hole beads, and you will also have some of those left over if you are an average sized wrist. So, as you know, oftentimes we'll use all those little extra bits and parts to make a pair of earrings, you know, hanging one of the large, one of the small, or some of the accent beads on the leftover leather, and you have, I should have made a pair of earrings, shouldn't I, Ed? But that's always a fun thing to do with your leftovers. Yes, I should be better. I'm sorry. It's been a week. It has been a week. If any of you has a mother or had a mother, I bet most of you have. We have, over the last week, been moving my mom down to town to Stoughton from La Crosse. Well, we moved her last Thursday, but she's been staying at our house, and we're getting her new place set up. So it has been a fun and exciting juggling of lots of stuff. So so there we go. All right, I'm going to get lot 3, which is, so I didn't get all of these in boxes because, as I said, we have just kind of come up with all of this. So this one is another fun colorway that is brass based, gold, cornerless cubes, picture jasper in the middle, and tiger eye for the 6mm stones. And so this is lot 3. Should have shown the other one close up too. Sorry. And as any of you who are stone people know, the tiger eye is just a wonderful kind of luminescent stone. I apologize. The bright lighting helps make everything bright, but it also creates a whole lot of reflection. You know, it looks on the screen like there's all these circles on here, and there aren't any circles. That's just from the lights, which are circular shaped. So it makes some of these look a little funky. So yes, in real life they are absolutely lovely stones. And lot 3 is the picture jasper. And as we've said, everything will come with the full instructions that Ed has worked up, and lots of good pictures that explain the process. If you like the technique that Anna showed us, you would need to watch the video. We didn't include that in the instructions. Sometimes instructions we end up using, we find the approach that is easy to understand and easy to document as well. So anyway, all of these will come with that. And so this is lot 3. Lot 4 is this beautiful jade. And this is a fun one. Well, aren't they all fun, right? So the 8mm stones here are really pretty jade, and then the 6mm are Rocky Butte jasper, which I love. They're like a Red Creek, but just with a little bit more olive maybe, and a little bit more muting. And this one we did with gold because we thought that was perfect to really make it just sing. When you wear these, they're I would say like thinner than a typical watch band, like that I used to wear 25 years ago when I was in corporate America, as far as the width goes. And it's just, I love the way they wear. It just sits beautifully and has a lot of just comfort and heft in a good way. You're not heavy heft, but just it just feels great on. So
They're about 18 millimeters wide, or just under 3/4 of an inch. Just so in case people are wondering, someone had asked earlier how wide they are.
aha. Yes, that looks about right, 3/4 of an inch. Alrighty, so lot 4 has the jade and the Rocky Butte with gold. And because we haven't put any of these kits together yet, if you would prefer one with different accents, you can just put that in your comments. So like this might be lovely with copper. And if you would prefer that, make a note that you'd like lot 4 with antique copper accents or copper accents, and we'll make sure that the button and the rings and the cornerless cubes are what, a metal, all matching metal finish. Alrighty, lot 5 is this one. And so this will include all of the ingredients to make this lovely bracelet, up to 8 inches of beads, and with the closure would fit up to a 9.5-inch wrist. The center beads here are demortarite, and the accent beads, the 6mm beads, are Red Creek jasper. I love how Red Creek jasper kind of goes with everything. This one is sort of it goes beautifully with jeans, but lots of other demortarite, I guess, just always goes well with jeans. As we said, $44 per kit, and if you buy 4 or more kits, you will get them at $40 each. Right, Eddie Ellen?
That's right.
Alrighty. So I am gonna skip around a little to go. I'm gonna do lot 20 and 21 just to get all the kits out, because those were sort of afterthoughts because we pulled them together late yesterday when we were playing. So And we don't have a ton of either of these, but we do have a few.
And are they limited release, just these, or is it going to be something that we?
Well, that's a good question. I guess I did not have the opportunity to check to make sure all of those ingredients were available, so I can't say for sure, unfortunately. Oh, and this does not go with that because that's silver. This one is lot 20, done with, and this one is $48 because that center strand of beads is a faceted Red Creek jasper, and I just thought it looked really cool, and I love this combo. So it's sort of almost like the reverse of lot 5. You know, lot 5 is dumortierite in the middle and Red Creek jasper on the side, and lot 20 is Red Creek jasper in the middle and dumortierite on the side. I know that we will for sure be able to do this because it looks like there's some interest with regular Red Creek jasper, not faceted, but at this point I think we only have 4 strands of faceted on hand, so that will be that until we get some more. So that is lot 20. And lot 21 is the one Anna was kind enough to show us her technique with, and that uses matte onyx and black gold amazonite. What a fun look, hey? We do. We only have 2. So, lot 21 with the matte gold amazonite as the accent bead, and matte onyx as the focal bead. So, and I am sorry that we are limited in quantity on some of these. If there's interest, please. All right, and it looks like I see 2 on 21 also. So if you have interest in any of these that we are limited in quantity on, please make a note in the comments, and Ed will keep track of that. And as we get more product in, we'll let you know. I apologize for that. Sometimes, you know, when we're coming up with fun stuff, we try hard to make sure we have plenty of product, but once in a while when we're making a sample, or I ask people to make a sample, they're not necessarily paying attention to whether we have a lot of something on hand, and so that can mean we have a cool sample and an idea, but we don't have product on hand. So our next is, we love Genya for all kinds of things, and you can buy it in 10-yard packs online for what, $11.25? Okay, so it's $11.25 online. Today, for you only, we are doing 10 millimeter, or 10 millimeters, how about 10 yards for $10.
Normally it's $1.50 a yard, save 33%.
Yeah. So it is, like I say, we use it when we are weaving with, well, this kind of thing, as well as with our binary chain. When we make, if you've ever done bracelets where you do square knots in between a large hole bead, we tend to use this as the base in the bead because it won't stretch. And that's one of the things that we very much enjoy. It is a vegan product, so if ever you are working with somebody who really is insistent that they don't want any animal products in their jewelry, it can be used as a substitute for leather. We surely do it for that. You know, it's for making just simple necklace cords and that kind of thing. And I was going to say one other thing. We do have, no, do we have 2 mil? No. Do we have 2 mil brown also of Genya?
Of Genya.
Yeah, okay, so we do have 2 mil if you need something larger. Looks just the same, except it's a little thicker, so for certain leather projects, it would be the better choice. So, so there we go. Lot 6 is the Genya. Lot 7, 8, and 9 are simply some of these good fun buttons, because now that you know how to do this, you can adapt it and do it yourself with whatever materials you might have, and play with it. So the concho buttons, these are all tier cast, and lot 7 is the silver, lot 8 is the copper, and lot 9 is the antique brass. And it's just a yummy good button. We love it muchly. It has a shank back and just a very pretty and detailed design. So lot 7, 8, and 9 are some of those buttons. And as you might have noticed in the designs that we just showed, we had a variety of different jump ring colors, and we have a limited quantity of those available as well, that we have allocated to some of the kits, and we have more coming, but it's going to be a while. Sometimes, you know, the whole supply chain situation is not anything we get to have much control over. But I do have a good quantity of silver rings, so I'm going to put those up next. And if you have interest in others, they're on the website, again in limited quantities, but today we are going to have the shiny silver, because once we, well, as you saw Anna's piece that had the shiny silver, it does look really nice. And if you wanted to swap that out in any of your designs, or, you know, if you bought a kit and then wanted to put shiny silver rings, that would be lovely. And we've typically matched, or, you know, had, well, we've matched or had close colors with the rings and the cornerless cubes, but you could certainly use contrasting colors for all of those as well. Alrighty, so lot 10 then is these good shiny silver jump rings, oval 6x8. They work marvelously for all kinds of things. We use these in stepping stones as well, right? And then we use them actually, and I have a few bonus kits that I'm going to share with you today for those of you who are still hanging around. That are, what they are is, we did an event last summer for a legal group, and actually I was going to have those charms, but I forgot about it. But anyway, we had a few leftover kits in our premium chevron and round rock chevron styles, where we just have one left of each, and I thought I would make those available for anybody who's interested, because they're just gorgeous stones and this would be a fun place to share them. They are normally, do you know what, Eddie? I don't have my prices. Yes, I do. They're normally 34 or 36, and we're doing them at 30 and 32. So I'll show you what we got. This is...
Did you show lot 11 yet?
No, we're not doing lot 11.
Okay.
Good question. We do not have enough of those to do. So lot 12 is this cute. You know what you could do for me, Eddie? I forgot to grab my samples for these. These are chevron bracelets. Can you grab just a sample of, or should I? Actually, here, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. This will work, because Eddie's got to keep track of the feed. So I'm going to, pardon?
The feed is, I mean, are they the exact ones at production?
They are, I think. So I'm just going to put, you see what's on the screen, those two lots.
So again, we do have limited quantities of, and again, I think lot 13 is just one. I see Annette is going to take that. Thank you, Annette. And again, if you're new to our show, just make sure you send us an email at the end of the show to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com with your email address so we can send you a secure click and pay. So I'm going to take 13 off the screen as sold. 12 is still available. So getting back to the shiny silver rings, lot number 10. Again, we do have those rings in antique silver, antique brass, antique copper, and gold. If you do have, we can do a limited quantities, you know, like maybe one bag each. And I think Laura Moore is going to take lot number 12. Thank you, Laura. Laura M, I'm going to write that on. Annette, I'm going to write that on 13. And I think we got a few more here. Lot 14 is Red Creek. We sold 12 and 13 already, Mama.
Okay.
14 and 15 are...
Thank you.
Well, anyway, getting back, if you just needed one bag of the jump rings, we can accommodate. I saw Susan Deethman wanted antique silver, and we can accommodate
Oh, sure.
one bag. But just put it in the comments if you need an additional gross of for $14 a gross of the 688. But we just didn't have we weren't sure what kind of response we were going to get, so we just wanted to keep enough for the kits to at least get the kits launched. So again, Laura Moore is going to take 15, and we're doing these without even examples. This one is a good one to show if you have a 2-ring example.
Yep.
All right.
So this is a sample of what they end up going together like. So there's enough rings to put 2 between each, and the other style is, the other style is the larger twisted jump ring, the 8mm twisted jump ring. So the rondelle beads work well with that.
Yep.
The round beads work nicely with 2 of these. So these aren't the exact samples, but they're the style.
And we only had one of lot 15, and that is sold to Laura Moore. We show that coming in the feed before Annette.
Alrighty, so then lot 16. I will show lots 1 and 2 in just a second. Thank you for asking. So yeah, lot 14 is still on there. It's the Red Creek Jasper. It's actually very similar to that sample, but yeah, couldn't be prettier. I love Red Creek Jasper and copper. So that one's still available. 16 is that one sold, so I will put that away. And then I'm going to do 1 and 2 real quick. And then start with 17, right? Okay, so lot 1 is this guy. The Goldstone with Rhyolite. A very fun, warm colorway. Goldstone has that beautiful iridescent fleck to it, and the Rhyolite is just a very nice, it looks, well, I think it is a jasper, actually. I was going to say, it looks like a jasper. I think that's because it is. So that's lot 1. I thought we did. I don't even see. Yeah, I thought lot 16 sold. No, it did. Annette took lot 16, so we did show it. And then this is lot 2. This is back from the beginning. So it's for the full kit, and it uses 8mm Red Creek Jasper and 6mm Bloodstone with brass accents. So that is lot 2, and then I'm going to hop back into just some of these where we have a few left that I thought I would share here because it's a good place to share fun things. Yes, well, right, we only have one left. So this actually is this bracelet. So 17 is this one that I brought to show as the sample. So it uses Red Creek jasper and brass oval rings doubled. That's lot 17. And I just have a few more here. Lot 18 uses larvakite and copper. I think that one is on our web. Maybe it's larvakite and silver's on the web. Anyway, larvakite and copper. I know it looks really cute. Okay, 5 and 20 side by side. All right, let me finish with, I've got one more lot 19, and then I will do 5 and 20. I see what you're looking at. Yes. Yes, 20 is sold out. But you know what? We can probably do 20 with regular Red Creek jasper, not the faceted. So, and that was kind of my thinking, ultimately. I just really was curious about how it would look with a faceted bead. So, let's see, I'm going to go here and then show one last chevron bracelet, lot 19. And this last round rock chevron uses the larvakite again. And I think most of these, I think all of them actually come with the sun or the sand dollar button and antique silver rings. So lot 18, just one of them, and does come with instructions, but we're not packaging the kit. So that is that, 18 and 19, and then I'll show you 5 and 20 because they are kind of similar. So lot 5, they have all the same basic stones going on, but different accents and different emphasis, since we've got demortarite as the feature stone, that 8mm stone in lot 5. We still have those available in the lot 20. We've sold out of that, but we could, at that price point at 48, if somebody's interested in lot 20 with regular jasper, not faceted, that would be at the $44 price, and I think we can put some of those together. So, I think that is all I've got. I will mention that if you have bid and haven't worked with us before on Facebook Live shows, send your email to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com so that we have a way to send you a click and pay invoice from Square. And if you order 4 bracelets or more, you get them at $40 each, and shipping is free over $50. I did not mention yet, and I should have probably, but we are just putting these are small batch kits we're putting together today and tomorrow, so they may not go out today, probably won't, but they will get out in the next couple of days. And we thank you for your patience, and we thank you for your joining us, and we thank you for your enthusiasm and energy. And if we can be of help in any way with BD stuff, let us know. If you've got any other feedback on what we've discussed or shared here, we're also delighted to hear that. Again, let us know at Becky@diakonosdesigns.com. And Eddie has something to say.
Yes, our next show is Thursday night, July 20th. Thursday night, July 20th, 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time. And we'll be showing our actual beautiful jewelry that we take to art fairs. We've done a lot of super sale jewelry shows. with gorgeous, gorgeous jewelry that's deeply on sale. And but we're going to show some of the stuff that we sell every day at art fairs all across South Central Wisconsin, and some new designs, some one-off designs, some very arty pieces, and it's going to be like you're going to one of our art fairs. So it'll be a kind of a new thing. We haven't tried it. We tried them 3 years ago during COVID, and we're going to try it again July 20th. So look for beautiful jewelry, about 40 to 50 lots of necklaces, earrings, and bracelets that we'll have ready just for you. So join us again in just a little under 2 weeks. And again, thanks everybody, and we'll look forward to getting our invoices out to you and getting these sent out in the next day or so.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We love you. We appreciate you. God bless.